I want to touch on Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay, owner for the Indianapolis Colts of the National Football League, because recently his running back, Jonathan Taylor, considered one of the best in the National Football League, has a year left on his rookie deal. But since he's scheduled to make only about $4.3 million this year, playing in the National Football League where one injury can cost you your career, he'd like some level of security. So he's looking for more money or for a deal that extends beyond next season. And the Indianapolis Colts, specifically owner Jim Irsay, is not interested in being cooperative at all. With a lot of running backs looking for, $15 million a year or whatever, with Saquon Barkley recently agreeing to about $11 million per year because the Giants were going to franchise tag him. With Josh Jacobs still looking for his money from the Las Vegas Raiders, with guys, 28-year-olds, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, LeGarrette Blount still looking for jobs in the National Football League. Austin Eckler for the Los Angeles Chargers recently conducted a call amongst the running backs, essentially to vent, complain because they're not being treated fairly. Unlike any other position in the National Football League, it doesn't matter what your level of production is at the running back spot. They just look at your age and they say, hey, this is your contract. We've got you locked up for at least the first 4 years or so. This is the contract that you are under. And then we look at your birth certificate, and no matter how good you are, no matter how healthy you appear to be, if you are about 28, 29 years of age or what have you, here's the reality of your situation. You ain't getting a long-term deal. And you certainly ain't going to get the kind of money that Christian McCaffrey or an Alvin Kamara in New Orleans are getting. Both of them are the only two running backs in the entire NFL. There's 125 people in the NFL getting paid an average of over $15 million per year. Two of them are running backs. Two of them. That's it. And the average running back in the National Football League is getting paid about $2.2 million. Obviously, second, third, fourth string running backs are on rosters. But the average running back in the National Football League is getting paid about $2.2 million. I'm sorry, like 1.8. I'm sorry. Do you know they get paid on average less than punters who are at $2.2 million? But that's what we're talking about here. Nevertheless, Irsay, the owner for the Indianapolis Colts, spoke on the issue involving Jonathan Taylor. Listen to how this man's speaking about Jonathan Taylor too. And that's no shade on Jonathan Taylor. I want Jonathan Taylor to get his money. I think he deserves more than $4.3 million. There was a runner-up for league MVP a couple of years ago. He's spectacular. He's something else. But the running backs are in a tough spot because they can be franchise tagged not once but twice. They got to come into the league like everybody else. They can't come in earlier. They got to do 3 years in college before they enter the NFL. Tate made a very astute point when he pointed out maybe things would be better if the quarterbacks, who are obviously the creme de la creme and the most valuable pieces on an NFL roster in today's game, maybe if they collaborated on behalf of running backs and spoke to the owners and the Players Association about modifying collective bargaining rules so somehow stipulations could be brought into play that would facilitate players getting paid. That's not going to happen in all likelihood, but it needs to happen. I just wanted to show everybody how flippant Jim Irsay was. Clearly an age-old white owner who, by the way, had alcohol issues and other issues, substance abuse issues, mental health issues. He had all of this stuff going on. You see how aloof he came across? How little Jonathan Taylor's feelings mattered in the grand scheme of things. I got you under contract. We're not trading you. You're not going anywhere. So you're either going to stay here and make these pennies on a dollar compared to what you're worth, or you could do it out. And we'll do without you, and fine. We won't miss you that much. If you're going, it's no big deal. Okay? I think it's safe to say he was neither drunk nor did he look drunk. Okay? And we know he's had his battles with alcoholism, and we wish Jim Irsay well. He did not seem inebriated in any way. He just seemed like somebody who didn't give a damn. And that's a damn shame, because the likelihood is that there's an abundance of owners who are just like him, which puts the players in a very unfavorable position. This is why I was so happy when Magic Johnson and Josh Harris and that group captured ownership of the Washington Commanders. I understand why Magic Johnson, who only has a speaking in that way in front of Magic Johnson. This is why diversity is so important. This is why I gave Jay-Z so much hype, and I was so mad at people in the aftermath of the whole Kaepernick brouhaha when Jay-Z collaborated with the National Football League and was in charge of overseeing its halftime entertainment during the Super Bowl and stuff like that. It was Jay-Z who was in that room when those owners were saying we don't need to do anything for Colin Kaepernick. We got black quarterbacks. We've got Patrick Mahomes. We've got Deshaun Watson. We've got Russell Wilson. We've got Jalen Hurts. We've got all of these other guys. We don't need Colin Kaepernick. And Jay-Z said, oh, yes, the hell you do. We can't do business. Y'all gonna act like that. You got to give this brother a chance. Which is why I was pissed off when Colin Kaepernick didn't show up for the workout. Talk about he didn't trust him and they gave him some waiver they didn't give anybody else. Of course they gave him a different waiver than they gave everybody else because the league never had to conduct a personal workout for an individual player before. Teams do that. But because no team wanted to be accused of being racist by Colin Kaepernick in the event that they decided not to bring him on board, the league had to step in and conduct a private workout for one specific player for the first time in the league's history. Jay-Z helped make that happen. I ain't asking you, and I ain't guessing. I'm telling you what I know. And knowing that backdrop, and knowing everything that was endured, Colin Kaepernick still decided not to show up to the Atlanta Falcons facility and wanted to conduct his workout at a damn high school football field an hour and 20 minutes away, devoid of any of the technology or the equipment that they use to evaluate players. That's why I told y'all he wasn't going to be back in the league. He didn't want to play no more. He wanted to be a martyr. I didn't mean it literally. I was speaking figuratively. Clearly being a martyr was more important to him than getting back on the football field. He and his team were praying that they'd get one workout with a team. 26 teams showed up, but he didn't. Jay-Z being in that room helped facilitate that happening. And if Magic Johnson is in that room when a Jim Irsay is running his damn mouth the way that he did with such dismissiveness and aloofness and devoid of compassion and sensitivity and all of that other stuff where no player should want to play for him, they just want to play in the NFL, and if he drafts them or whatever, what can you do? Let people like Magic Johnson and Jay-Z be on the other side of the table when he's running his mouth like that. I bet you he wouldn't do it. I bet you he'd disguise his feelings a little bit better than that. But I'm happy he revealed it because now we know. It is what it is. We're not surprised.